Hello you beautiful people, welcome back to the LOCK PWC video. Today I want to not do a training but instead talk to you about Mitoma. So most of you know that the scout banner for Mitoma is currently up, and if we actually were to go into scout you can see that you are able to go and finally summon for his new SSR. Which, I mean, we did do a previous talk about what I think about it. But there was some information that I wasn't aware of going into this, so I only rated the card on base value and how effective it is today. What I also talked about would be the Mitoma itself, and in the past videos I talked about how Mitoma is quite low ranking and how I don't actually like Mitoma that much. I do like the speed Mitoma, I think he's really good on the speed team, but outside of that, the tech Mitoma has always been quite low on my tier lists. But that's all about to change. Mitoma's about to be buffed, and we are finally at that point where Mitoma's going to be one of those really, really useful units. I want to firstly start this video by thanking Dashwolf from Discord for pointing this out to me, because up until this point, I wasn't aware, and truthfully, when I was told about Mitoma and just how amazing Mitoma is, I'm sort of sitting there going, how have I not maxed this unit yet? And sure, up until this point, he would have been worthless to me, but I would have been ready for this very moment. So, let's not elaborate on this any further, and let me go straight into why Mitoma is OP. So, I'm going to start with Mitoma, the base one. We'll start with Mitoma, the base one. And you're going to come down, and this is his stats. As you know, his stats aren't that good. They are pretty mid. In fact, he offers borderline nothing. And then as we scroll down, this is where it changes. So, to the world as a whole, we're going to be discussing this in a future video, changes the way we train, and support characters and characters are important, but other than that, links are very important, and this importance to these training skills and building these connections is going to be way more important than actually the support cards and the support characters you bring half the time. So if we were to scroll down with Mitoma, we're about to get the release of Bachira X, right? So with Bachira X, we finally get some really cool links. Firstly, we can have a look at with the current support card. If we were actually to take it to the max level, you can see we get special training occurrence rate of 30%. I have checked, this is currently in the game. This is the highest training occurrence rate we have in the game at the moment. It's 15% on every other character. So this is already the strongest, and you can already see this starting to kick in. Now, when Bachira X comes out, things change a little, because as you can see, we are starting to get something slightly different. We are starting to get training acquisition 15%. We are starting to get, with the Nagi that's coming out as well, another 15%. And this is not really where it's at. It's really where the RU starts happening, and we start getting the constant technique up. If we were to take RU to the max level, you can see we'll have a constant technique up of 30%, which means if we're training with RU and we're training with Mitoma, that's a free 30% extra constant buff. Added in with the fact that he also goes with Karasu, who's coming out afterwards, and gives another buff. He partners up with the support cards. And then don't forget, Karasu and Ryu all partner up. We're going to be building such a huge constant buff for technical that Mitoma's becoming this almost inexpensive. He is one of the best, almost best in slot technical trainers. And every single time a new technical unit comes out, Mitoma's going to be buffed and his links are going to be added, so he's going to work with them. So, what I'm trying to get at is, Mitoma's a very good card, and it doesn't matter which iteration of the card you take, whether it's the support card, the technical card, the speed card, Mitoma's going to be constantly buffed. So, moving forward, it's actually a really good idea to go and max Mitoma. And if you're in a situation like me where you haven't maxed Mitoma, you now have this really hard choice of, do you spend a bunch of money or gems at trying to get Mitoma, and is it worth it for you? Now, he is a limited character, so he is very expensive to do. He's also quite a low drop rate, unfortunately, so you need to really weigh up all of that, and the fact that Global is moving at a faster pace than, JP was. So where this card was really popular for 3-4 months, is it going to still be that long where it's popular? But at the same time, Mitoma gets constant buffs, whilst other limiteds get quite slow buffs, and sometimes, in the case of the Halloween cards, not enough buffs. Mitoma always seems to get a buff, and this tech Mitoma gets buffed with every single new tech card that comes out. And he gets this constant tech up, he gets all this other cool stuff. He is absolutely fantastic. Now, the same applies for the speed Mitoma. If we actually scroll down to his training partners, and the training skills, you can see at the start, it starts off really small. These are all the stuff that we already have in the game. And then you come down to here, and all of a sudden, you have 30% training occurrence rate up, which is actually really good. And then with the new cards that are coming out, like as of next week potentially, he gets all this fixed bonus. With this card, he gets, you know, constant speed increase. And then with Rayo X, he gets full shuttle power. And all of this just works and gets stronger and stronger. I mean, there's a reason why we use Zantetsu in the JP to the world runs, because of this constant buff here. So Zantetsu becomes really important as well. But Mitoma is someone that constantly is going to be updated. When Otoyo got released, Mitoma got another buff. When, you know, Sei card came out, it got another buff. Chigiri, of course, he got another buff. There isn't ever an iteration where a speed card comes out and Mitoma doesn't get a buff, or the tech version doesn't get a buff, or the Intel version whenever it comes out. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, I think there's a world where we need to think about, is it worth maxing Mitoma, or all the versions of Mitoma, and then potentially skipping the new tech card that comes out? Because you could run Bachira X as a friend. He could be your friend unit. Because you've got Mitoma, you know you've got that constant link there. And then you could bring Bachira as a friend. Or you could bring Aryu as a friend, so you don't have to summon him for him, because now you have Mitoma. And no matter what, even when Aryu in 2 years' time becomes useless, or Bachira becomes useless, Mitoma, you know, is going to be buffed, and is going to permanently be buffed. Because he's an IRL player, he's always getting that love. So, is there a world where Mitoma actually, while being one of the most expensive units to pull for because of how limited his banner is actually the most cost effective? Because he's constantly being buffed. So where you're going to lose, like the V1s are virtually useless for us right now, right? But Mitoma wouldn't be. It's going to be buffed again. So I think what I want you guys to think is, whilst Mitoma might not also be the best in slot moving forward, he's probably going to be able to train you to at least 90% capacity. So let's say the best teams, like the complete best in slots, all level 100 is 100%, right? With Mitoma, you're probably still going to get 90%. Like, he's going to be buffed to a point where he is at least substitute worthy. So yeah, I think I'm in this mindset where I want to go and max all the Mitomas, because it makes perfect sense to max all the Mitomas right now, especially while the banner's up, and as the future banners come in. And I wanted to make this video because I want to highlight just how good this Mitoma is and how many links he gets. It's the same with the support card as well, and the support card's going to continue to get links. So if we actually come down to training skills, you can see it's partnering with Rin 2, it partners with Shido, and these are all pretty standard. He partners with Mitomas, both versions. And then later on, you can see some of the newer cards. The Raichi, you get some fixed speed bonus. With this support card here, you're going to get full shuttle run bonus. With Chigiri, you get some kick bonus. Now, these aren't phenomenal. It only gets really quite good when you get the Shido and you get that kick. But I don't think he becomes like that good in kick comps. The SSR is okay. The characters are really solid for Mitoma. But all in all, I think there's a world where you probably want them. At no point are they going to be best in slot, but they are going to be second best. And sometimes if you want to have, if you're free to play, or if you've got dry spells where you don't want to spend as much, it's just going to be a card you're going to have to slot in at any given point, and it's just going to perform well because it's going to be constantly buffed. So there is a world where I am absolutely thinking about this, and probably going to max the Mitoma, and I wanted to share that before I did it. So you guys also have the option on this current banner if you want to think about it. Now, there is a world where you could just go get Bachira, you could go get other units and just use Mitoma as a friend. And if you have Mitoma maxed, I highly just encourage everyone to put Mitoma as your friend unit, since it's going to be one of those units that are hard to get. At least share it with the community so people that don't have it can still use it. Because as Bachira comes out and then as Aryu comes out, he is going to be the most important tech character to pop into your teams. So he is going to be very, very useful. But yeah, that is my 2 cents on Mitoma. Thank you to Dashwolf for sharing this, and also thank you to Dashwolf for highlighting just how different to the world is moving forward. Like, this week is going to feel just like normal training to us, but as new characters come out, to the world's about to change, the meta's about to change, and I'm going to be covering every single week all the meta changes and all the new characters. So I hope you guys are ready. And you know, check the video out. In a couple of days, I'm going to have a whole future guide on what to invest in. So yeah, keep an eye on the channel, and I'll see you all later. Bye!